Hey, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to draw a simplified version of Ariel, the Little Mermaid, which was the foundation for the finished drawing that you're seeing right now. One of the important principles in learning to draw is to make something simple first, instead of focusing on the details too early in the process. Once you have a simplified version that looks good, then you should focus on the details, allowing the simplified version to guide you in terms of where to put your details and at about what size they should be drawn. This video demonstration is designed for you to be able to follow along and draw with me. I'll draw it nice and slow with plenty of real-time explanations of what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. You should be able to keep up with me without any trouble. Before you start, I'd recommend that you download this border template, which is available in the video description below, and print it out on a piece of 8.5 by 11 paper. Even better would be for you to get a piece of 12 by 18 paper and measure the border that you're seeing right now, with 2 inches of space at the top and bottom, and with 1 inch of space on the left and right. Don't forget to draw a reference point, which is a small cross right in the exact middle of your piece of paper. I'd recommend that you use a ruler and measure accurately in order to locate and draw that small reference point cross. Also, you can download this reference sheet, which I'll be using to draw my simplified version of Ariel, the Little Mermaid. I'll be referring to the Simple Shapes image on the left. If you'd like to refer to it while you draw with me, it's available for download in the description of the video. So, if you're ready to have some fun, print out your border template or measure your border on a 12 by 18 piece of paper, print out your reference sheet, grab your pencil and your eraser, and let's make a simplified version of Ariel, the Little Mermaid, one of the most famous Disney characters of all time. Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to locate my line of action. So I'm going to start here with my reference point, and I'm going to go across to the left a short distance, about right here, and I will put a mark for how close I want my line of action to be to my reference point. Probably about right here. Okay. I'm going to come up to the top border, and I'm going to estimate where my line of action touches my top border. So it doesn't touch here in the middle, it's going to move over here more to the right. So I'm making a judgment how far from this border corner is my line of action. And I think that's going to be something about right here. Okay, so I'll put a mark right there. You may want to notice how far away I'm holding my pencil from the tip when I'm making the sketch here. Okay, my bottom border. Where does my line of action touch? So again, as I take a look at that, it might be almost the same as this distance right here. So as I come down, it's probably something about right here. Okay, so I have taken a look at 3 locations and I'm ready to draw in my line of action. So I'm going to sketch lightly and I'm going to draw it down towards this mark here with a gentle curve, as you can see. Once again, keeping my drawing light, loose, and sketchy at this point. As I come up, I'm going to head towards my mark right there. I'm going to draw that towards that mark about like that. Okay, so as I take a look then at my line of action, which will give me the posture or position of my figure, I'm feeling pretty good about that. Now, I should always do, for my next shape, something close to my reference point. So that's pretty easy. I'm going to draw this circle right here that represents her waist. So what I notice is the top of it is about straight across from my reference point. So I'll just bring a line right here to help me locate the top of that circle. Okay, now the hard thing is to figure out how far down this line of action is it going to go? And I'm thinking of a spot that is about here, right there. Okay, so what I want to do then is draw a circle. The top of it's going to touch here, and the bottom is going to be about right here. Alright, so when I sketch that in, I'm usually not very good at circles, and sometimes I need to go over that a couple of times. Right in here. Now you may notice that the side of your circle is going to be very close to your reference point, and that's a way you can help yourself there. So here's my circle right in this area here, representing her waist area. So I'm thinking something like that right there. I usually will go around a circle several times to get it about the right size and shape, but I'm keeping everything light and loose, of course. My line of action should be cutting my circle about in half, as you can see. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to work on, do something easy. I'm going to draw this ankle right here. It's right under my circle. It's almost cut in half by my line of action, and I'll just go ahead and put that in right here. Nice and small, representing an ankle joint, even though obviously she doesn't have feet. She's got fins, something else. Okay, right there. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw one of these fins. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to let my line of action help me locate that fin tip. So if this is my line of action here, that fin tip is going to be just to the right of it. Check my negative space, and if I put a dot about right there, that is going to be the tip of my fin. And that's the way I can get something the right size compared to my border. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and draw towards that. So I'm going to draw right here, comparing with my line of action. Right in this area, it's almost right on top of my line of action. Then it's going to curve away from my line of action. It's going to come down, and it's going to hit that point right there. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. All right, let's draw the other side of it. Now again, I know where I'm going to, and if I kind of do this motion here, I can kind of get that going. There's a little bit of a curve in it right here, and I'm checking to see how wide it is. I'm thinking something like this. Nice, smooth curve coming down to the point of that fin. Again, light, loose, lines that are kind of messy. Nothing dark, nothing hard, nothing permanent quite yet. Okay, so that'll give me fin number 1, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. Okay, let's go ahead and do fin number 2. Now here I can use my knowledge of negative space to help me. So if this is my right border, I'm going to come in and I'm going to put a mark somewhere about here. So somewhere on this line, I need this fin tip to touch. Somewhere over here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw towards it. Starting at this ankle, I'm going to curve downwards. I'm going to cross fin number 1. Then I'm going to be kind of horizontal. Then curving up and then down, landing somewhere here on that line, somewhere about there. Okay? Back to my ankle, I'm going to draw across and then up a little bit, nice curve, drawing downwards towards the tip. I'm thinking something like that. Light, loose, of course. Okay, now coming over here, I'm going to locate the knee. So I'm going to use my negative space again. The knee is going to be very close to my border. And whenever something is close to your border, that should be super easy for you. The small negative spaces are much more easy to judge than the big ones. Okay, so what I want to do is from this ankle, I'm going to draw upwards just a bit, kind of straight, then up a little, right in here. Okay, so I want to get that curve coming up, and then right in here, right in this area here, I'm going to draw a circle for the knee. And I'll put this like right here. Once again, a circle. I'm going to go around that several times. Check my negative space. I'm good there as well. Okay, back to my ankle. I want to call it the leg. It's going to be thin, and then it'll come up with a nice, gentle, smooth curve like this, and this will give me the shape of the leg. Okay, that's looking pretty good to me. Nice curves, light drawing. There we go. All right, now the next thing I want to do is I'm going to position her elbow. So that should be pretty easy for me because it's going to be almost cut in half by my line of action. I can see the lower part of it goes inside her waist, and I'm going to put in a circle right here for the elbow. Okay, and you can see right there I drew by comparison, comparing it to other things I have already drawn. Okay, now what I want to do next, I'm going to position her hand as a circle. Now it's very close to the leg. I'm thinking something about here, and I'm going to draw a circle that's a little bit larger than the elbow, very close to the leg. I'm thinking right in here. Okay, once again, circle. I'm going to go around several times to get it the right size. I'm going to connect that elbow with a curve to the hand like this, as you can see. And then the same thing for the top of the arm. A little bit thicker at the wrist, coming up and connecting right there. Okay, that looks good. Now while I'm over here, I'm going to go ahead and draw a circle for the other hand. I'm noticing, I'm going to draw by comparison again. This one, of course, is going to be a little bit higher, and I'll put that right there like that. So the two hands coming together right here as a circle. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and draw this part of her leg that will come up here and touch the hand right there as well. Okay, looking pretty good to me. All right, it's time now for one of the hardest things. So what I need to do now is I need to judge the size of her torso. So what I want to do is I'm going to come up my line of action, and I want to make a very careful judgment for how far up I should go on my line of action for the top of the body, the top of the torso. So I'm thinking, and I'm looking at this very carefully, and I'm thinking something here. Something right there I think is about right. And I'm trying to judge the distance from top of the circle here, the length of this line, and I really want to take my time. If I make her body too short, or if it's too long, it's going to look kind of strange. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw in that body. So I'm going to start here from my waist circle. I'm going to come up past the elbow, very close to the elbow, and I can judge the distance between the side of this body and my line of action. So that'll come up like this. I'll get a nice curve, and I'm thinking something like that. Now as I take a look at that, I'm wondering, Is that too long? Is it too short? And if I've got a mistake here, now would be the time to fix it. And I think that mine was just a little bit too long. So just a little bit shorter is what I'm thinking. Okay, so I'm going to take a look at this shape again. I'm looking at this shape right here, this half of her torso. That is what I'm looking at this moment. So coming up, okay, I agree. I think I had it a little bit too tall. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and do the other side, right past my reference point. Now this, of course, is the arm, part of the arm, but I'm just coming up here, and I'm thinking right there. Okay, now that's one of the hardest things to do, is to carefully judge the length of the torso. Okay, I think that's about right. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to put in a shoulder. So I'm going to use a circle right here, and I'm going to come look at that, how close it is to my line of action. I'll go ahead and put in a circle like this, touching the side of my torso. And then I'll just draw that side of the arm right there. And then this will come up. It's going to cross my line of action. And I'm going to come up here and connect it to the circle. Okay, that gives me her arm. Okay. Now the next thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and locate her chest. So what I want to do for that, I'm going to draw, take a look here, coming up my line of action. I'm comparing with the shoulder, a little bit higher. So this general area here. So I'm going to go ahead and draw an oval for part of her chest right in this area here. And I want to make sure it is lower than my shoulder. So I'm drawing by comparison. So that tells me it's about right here. Now look how close it is to the side of the torso, and it's nearly touching my line of action. How far is it from this elbow? All those comparisons I'm making right now, and I'm feeling pretty good right in there to the chest. Okay, slanting upward for the bottom of the chest like this. Upward again. Then I notice how far it sticks out past my torso, like that. And then this side of it will connect in here like that. Okay, I'm feeling pretty good about that. I took a careful look there. And what I wanted to notice is that it's a little bit lower here. And then compared to the shoulder, it's a little bit higher over here. So I'm taking another look at that. Something like that. And if you want to see that as kind of like a slanting rectangle like this, that's not a bad idea either. So something like that will give you the shape of it here. Now as I look at that, comparing it with this shoulder, I'm feeling pretty good about it. Okay, continuing. I'm going to put in an elbow close to my torso. How far is it from my arm? Like right here. How far from the chest? So right in here. And I'll draw in that right there. Okay, notice the connection. It goes through the hand and just comes up here like that. Okay, and right here. Obviously a little bit thicker here at the elbow, and then connecting like that to the bottom of the chest. Okay, now let's go ahead and work on the hardest part of the drawing, which is going to be a simplified version of her head. Alright, so I've got the top of the torso right here. I like that pretty well. Line of action. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to come down my line of action about this far or so. Okay, so somewhere in there, top of the head. And then that chin, somewhere like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and sketch this in. Now this will be a bit of a challenge. So this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to use my line of action and I'm going to put in the side of the neck right there, jaw, and then I want to find the point of that chin right there. Okay, good. So then I'm going to go ahead and make a simplified version real quick. From here, I'll curve up, I'll have the cheek, I'll have the head. Now I need to change that line, but it's something like this here. Okay, then I'm going to slant up, and I'm going to draw the jaw into the head like that. So as you can see, what I have right here is like a pointed egg. It's an egg shape, but it's quite pointy here at the chin. Okay, now that's a simplified version of the head shape, and I'm not done with it. Okay, now what I'm going to do next, I'm going to come up and I'm going to draw in the neck, noticing there's more neck on the right side than there was on the left, right there. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Now I'm going to draw the center line for the face, and that's going to go here from the point of the chin to this spot right here where my line of action is crossing the top of the head. So right here. And this will be a center line for the face. Okay, so I'm going to draw that like this, coming up just like that, giving me that center line for the face. Okay, good. All right, now, difficult things here. I've got to locate the shape and space for the eyes. Okay, now that's going to be a challenge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down my center line of the face, to a spot about right here. Okay, right there is what I'm thinking. And I'm going to draw that across the head like this, right there. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Check the shape that's created here. This one here, I'll have this just a little more rounded right there. Okay, now I need to come in just a little bit, and then I need to go out, and I need to get the shape of the cheek, and I'm thinking like that. Okay. Now, the second line for the eyes will be right here, and it's basically going to be parallel to the first one that I drew, like this. And I'll draw that across, like that. Okay, while I'm over here, I'm going to go ahead and locate the ear, which will be like this. It's going to be right below that line, kind of running into my head shape, like that. Okay, that's looking pretty good. All right, almost done. Let's do the nose. So a short distance right here, it'll come down, slanted, hit my center line, then it's going to change direction. It's going to be nice and pointy right there, and then down like that, not quite touching my center line. Okay, one more thing. Got to get the mouth. Okay, so I compare it to the nose. Right under it, it's a slanting line that's about parallel with my eye lines here. It'll come out. It's going to be about this close to my line of action. There's a very small part of it on this side. Come down that far away from the bottom of my chin, right there. And then I'll bring that up, and I've got the corner of the mouth right there. Okay,
There it is.
So, how did yours turn out? I'm sure that if you are patient and careful, your simplified version of Ariel, the Little Mermaid, looks great. Remember, the hard thing for young artists to do is to figure out how to get started. But if you've worked with me, you've got it all figured out. Your drawing is accurate in terms of size and proportion, and now you're ready for the details. Use your simple shapes as a guide to help you know where to put the details and then about how big they should be drawn. As you draw the details, erase the simplified shapes. As a reminder, the reference sheet can be downloaded from the link found in the description of the video. Thanks again for stopping by my channel, and don't forget to keep on drawing.